With a grin on his face, he decides to live his current life with his desires and beliefs. In the time back, everybody is panicking because someone got run over by a truck while trying to save a girl. With a full of blood, he looks at that girl, while the police is asking to her if she knows this man. But she ran away because of fear while saying that she doesn't know this man. While gripping his last breath, this man thinks to himself that he is so stupid because he lived his life acting as a good man for that girl who ran away saying she doesn't know him. As a result, he lived a poop life. All of a sudden, with a shock in his face, he wakes up. While looking at the new room, he thinks that's all he remembers from his old world. After a while, he realizes that he died protecting his girlfriend and got reincarnated into this world as a augured Verrect, who is the eldest son of the villainous Verrect family. He then thinks to himself he was a good guy in his first life, and by being the good, he found out that being good is poop. Since he is now born as a villainous noble, he doesn't want to go through that same fate. After a while, he became 15, and he decides to live according to his desire, which is getting a harem with the lot girls and enslave them. He then says sorry to his father for arriving late, but his father just asks him to take a seat. He then goes on by complimenting his son for training daily without skipping a day, which makes him to feel at ease to have such a promising child. He then says with a confidence that it's only natural, because he is the son of a guy that acts like a fool in front of everyone to let his enemies guard down while controlling them from behind the scenes. With a smile, he tells to his father he hopes to learn more from his father, while thinking that his father is an excellent mastermind. His father then tells him to enroll in a magic academy Lishper to fulfill the conditions to become a successor of this family. He then asks him on what he's going to do about magic. With a terror face, he explains that he will not show his magic to anyone since it's one kind of technique in this world, which made his father to laugh happily. And he goes on by telling to his son to choose an attendant that will help him with his basics needs in the dorm. Plus, he can even buy a slave if he wants. After hearing it, he smiles deviously and thinks that he can now recruit a strong subordinate to support him achieve his goal of becoming a perfect villain. However, just having a strong subordinate wouldn't be fun, so he will purposefully find a strong subordinate with a strong sense of justice, and he will force her to do evil things. All of a sudden, he realizes that he is standing on the food table, but his dad just tells him to be careful on the way, to which he bows down by telling to his dad bye. Afterwards, he comes to an underground arena, while thinking he already decided on who to pick. The arena is packed by lots of people shouting kill kill, and the players in the arena surrounding a girl to kill her, but she is unfazed by their threatening, and all of them jumps on her to give a finishing blow. With ease, she jumps on top of them, and she uses a named attack. After a while, a guy is screaming in pain. With a zero emotion, she tells him to be silent in his last moments. After that, she deals a finishing blow right off his mouth. Afterwards, the arena owner calls her, and he tells to her that he has a guest. After that, it was RMC, and even that arena owner apologizes to him for making him wait. But then she says it's just a kid, which shocked that owner, and he tells her to shut up. In the end, he tells that owner to leave because he wants to talk with her alone. After hearing it, he smilingly says that he understands, so he will make sure that no one enters into this room, so he can do whatever he wants. Afterwards, he tells to her it's a misunderstanding. He didn't came here to buy a woman for pleasure. And he goes on by calling her by her true name, which is she used to be a commander of the Holy Knights. But this shocked her, and she gets really angry while questioning him on how he knew about this information. But then she notices the Verrect family crest on his sword, which made her to get more irritated since he was a noble, but she couldn't able to do anything since his family is in charge of intelligent gathering. He then, with a calming tone, says to her that it's not a surprise for her to stare at him like that, since the ones that drove her from the Holy Knights was a noble like him, which once again made her to get angry. At the time back, for the sake of justice, she was tracking down a human trafficking operation, but that operation was being ran by a noble. Knowing the truth, she took to the king right away, and she asked the king to bestow judgment on the nobles. All of a sudden, that noble comes into the room by telling to the king objection, since this holy knight here is a mere commoner, and she faked it to join here, while showing a paper as a proof. But this shocked that girl, and she started to panic, while telling to the king it's a fake report. In the end, they kicked her out, and framed her as a criminal. After remembering her past, she breaks a table with her bare hands. With an anger, she asks to him on why is a rotten noble here for her, and because of the nobles, she have no choice but to use her justice for an arena filled with evil. Meanwhile, he wasn't fazed by her threatening. With a serious face, he says that he is disappointed on her, with a following question on where is her pride of a holy knight, which caught her off guard. While being confused, she started to say she is no longer a holy knight, but before she could finish it, he grabs her hands, and he says that he used to like her when she was a knight, which made her to blush. Then tells to her that he admired her, and she even used to encourage her friends. Also, she is filled with a strong sense of justice, more than anyone else. Till she tells him to stop since she is no longer a girl he is referring to. Plus, to earn money, she had to become a scum. Afterwards, she tells him to stop, because the justice-filled knight is already dead. After hearing it, he just tells her to restart her life if she is already dead. He then goes on by inviting her to join him, so he will help her shine once again, which flusters her. But then he takes a vow, which is he letting her to do her justice work again. After hearing it, she sits in front of him. As an acceptance to his proposal, she vows it back. All of a sudden his expression changes, and he thinks that he got her. And he goes on by thinking that she is a fool to believe him, since he is just going to follow his script that he has in his room, which is living his life without compromising his belief. The second one telling himself to work without slacking off. And the third one is not letting anyone decide his future. Afterwards, he asks her to come with him, so he can introduce her with his father, to which she happily says yes, while he is thinking that he is impressed by his acting skills. After that, while walking, he tells her to stop, and he tells to her that she needs a new name since she is now being labeled as a criminal. So he decides to call her Alice, which made her really happy since that name was really cute. She then suddenly remembers something. As a result, she leaves the place while telling to him she wants to do a last visit in this arena, to which he asks to her on what is she trying to do here. With a smile, she just says that there are some preparations she wants to do before leaving, which made him to think whether if she has gone back to take her weapon or something. But the sword she is going to wield is not for justice, but rather to fulfill his villainous goals. After saying it, he walks into the arena, asking to her that they should take their first step to his plan. But he was shocked to see her sitting in the pile of bodies. As a result, he started sweat, while thinking that is what she meant by preparation. And she cutely tells to him that she thought killing all the villains here will be a good thing to show the peoples about her justice. While blushing, she tells to him that she will now serve as his sword for eternity in the Magic Academy Lishper, which is also the best magic academy in this entire country. But then he confidently declares that it's in perfect place to create a foundation for his villainous goals, and also to fulfill it. He even obtained a powerful pawn. Meanwhile, she was pleading that she will do her best to be his subordinate. All of a sudden, two students get shocked after hearing the word Verrect family. But this made her to get happy, and she tells to him that her master is already in the center of the attention. But he wasn't happy, since there is a problem in there. Afterwards, those students started to laugh, while saying it's the noble of losers, which made her to get angry, and she started to threaten them, which made him to think that the problem is his maid is a bit dangerous. Afterwards, he thinks it's an expected thing about their talking. He then goes on by getting ready to do his second plan, which is to create a harem. All of a sudden, someone calls him, and it was a girl, and she says if he remembers her, which confused Alice, and she started to wonder if it's boy or girl. But after seeing the hairpin she is wearing, Augurt remembers her, and her name is Karen Lavichenko, who is the only daughter of Lavichenko. On top of that, she was his ex-fiancée. With a riz, he tells to her that he is glad to see her, which made her to blush since he remembers her. Afterwards, he says that he will never forget the hairpin he gave her, to which she replies she is treasuring it. He then suddenly introduces her to Alice as his ex-fiancée. He then goes on by saying that their engagement got called off because he has a problem from his part, to which Alice backs up by saying Augurt is a perfect man. He then tells to Alice that the important thing in this world is magic, but he can't use magic because he doesn't have any aptitude. Since he can't use magic as a noble, the Lavichenko family started to hate him. She then suddenly shouts that's not true. With a flustered face, she mumbles that Augurt always. But before finishing it, she runs away, while saying that they should hurry, since they might end up coming late to the entrance ceremony. After seeing her, he just thinks he wasn't expecting to see her after this long time. Plus, he questions why is she wearing crow's dress. Afterwards, the entrance ceremony starts, and the people in the crowd started to gossip that the eldest son in the Verrek family can't use magic. After hearing all of it, Alice gets angry, and she gets ready to cut them down, to which he tells her to stop. But after hearing it, she crying tells to him it's so vexing to hear those words, since he is a wonderful person, but they just don't know anything. Afterwards, they were walking while he tells to her that they are speaking like that because they don't know about him. So as a result, he is letting them talk like that for now. So in the future, they will be envious about him, which moved Alice, and she started to shed tears again. But on inside, he was planning to build a harem. He then thinks to himself that he has already decided on the second girl. However, it's not as easy like Alice. But right after he said it, there was a girl that's getting bullied for being a commoner. But after hearing it, Alice gets angry while thinking she can't stand what those bullies are saying. But to Alice's surprise, Augurt already rushed in, and he tells sorry to Alice because she was his target. But then before she gets hit, he beat those bullies with ease while thinking that he should show her his cool side. And while being confused, he tells to Augurt if he knows who he just hit. After hearing it, he tells his name and his pride that he takes on his social status. Right after saying it, he introduces himself, so which means that guy's family is in a lower rank. As a result, they started run in fear, which then impressed Alice more after seeing his fighting style. Afterwards, he gives her his hands to her, while thinking about the reason he wants her as his subordinate is because of her huge balloons. As a result, she started to introduce her name as Mashiro Leash from the first year. But his eyes are locked in on the button that looks like it was about to pop out. In the end, he decides to calm down and act like a gentleman. As a result, he gives her a kerchief while telling her to clean of the dirt on her skirt, which made her happy, and she asks to him if he really offering his kerchief to someone like her, to which he just gently smiles while telling to her that it doesn't matter. In the end, she leaves while saying to him they will meet again at the student welcome party. After that, starts to think that everything is going according to his plan. With those expression he made earlier, her love must have increased towards to him. Afterwards, he decides to go back into the party hall, and so he asks Alice to come with him. But to his surprise, she was worshipping him like a god for his earlier actions. After a while, they arrived at the party hall. Alice then gives him a drink, but to their surprise, a lot of students is forming a crowd, to which he realizes that the crown prince is standing in the middle of that crowd. He then reveals that the crown prince is Karen's current fiancé, which shocked Alice, and she goes on by letting out a malicious look on the prince, saying he is a jerk for having that many women surrounding him, to which he just asks to her on why she is getting mad at Prince for this reason. But then he notices them while being in the middle of the crowd. In an instant, he comes near Alice, questioning to her if she have any business with him, to which she just thinks if he noticed her killing intent towards him. All of a sudden, Augurt comes in, and he says to the prince that she is with him. But after seeing him, the prince says that he have heard of Augurt, since he is the guy that joined in this academy with no magic aptitude. But Alice took this as an insult, and she gets angry once again. But Augurt suddenly tells her to stand behind him, and he goes on by introducing himself to the prince, to which the prince just smiles, while saying that Augurt is popular with the girls. Afterwards, Karen comes in, and she says she finally found the prince, but with a serious tone, and he asks to her on what she wants, which scared her, and she says it's nothing. Augurt just silently watches them. Meanwhile, Alice realizes why she is still being fixated on Augurt even though she got Prince as a fiancé. But then the prince leaves, but while leaving he tells to Augurt that he can't wait to see how many embarrassing things he is going to do. After that, he asks Karen to follow him, but she was visibly confused on what just happened. In the end, she was really frustrated about what the prince said, but she couldn't able to speak back, which made Alice to realize that it must be really frustrating to Karen. All of a sudden, Augurt says that he knows what she is currently feeling. After hearing it, she started to walk happily. But after noticing it, Alice started to blush, and she goes on by complimenting him, by saying he is the best, and also it doesn't matter even if he doesn't have a magic aptitude. He is still him. After that, he smiles while saying that it made him happy, and suddenly he thinks it's getting interesting, since they're having a huge misunderstanding on who he really is. But after seeing his malicious face, Alice was shocked, and she completely get confused while thinking if she just saw Augurt as a completely different person or she just needs some rest. Meanwhile, he receives a letter, and after reading it he started to blush, since the letter is from Mashiro, and she asked him to meet her in the backyard of a school before the start of first period, which made him to think whether if it's a love letter. Afterwards, the next day, she was really happy to see him. In the end, she goes in for the kiss. All of a sudden, he wakes up thinking that's way too early for that to happen, which then made him to realize he just hadn't dreamed, but Alice opens the door, asking him if it's an enemy attack. But he just thinks that dream will soon become a reality. After that, while getting ready, he thinks to himself, he is a sinful man to make a girl fall for him in the first day itself. Meanwhile, Alice is crying while taking a picture of him since he looks so cool. After that, at the backyard, he arrives in front of her, saying thanks for waiting. But right after seeing him, she says thanks to him for saving her yesterday. And she started to tell him the reason she called him here for. But this made Augurt to realize it's the same line from his dream, and he gets ready for her to pour her love onto him. Suddenly, she tells him to not get involved with her. He just hears it without giving any expression, and before he could say anything, she just returns his kerchief, since it's troubling her. To which he replies to her that she was happy to receive it yesterday, and she tells to him that it's his misunderstanding, and she wasn't happy to receive it at all, which shocked him. Afterwards, she started to leave, but to Augurt he was completely caught off guard, and he started to think that gentleman act he put on earlier can't fail, and it was foolproof. But how could she not fall for it? She then started to talk with the boys that bullied her yesterday, and after seeing it he realizes that they might be friends, so when he thought he saved her, but it only placed an opposite effect. As a result, he gets her full meaning when she said it's a misunderstanding, which was her preferring bad boys over good boys. As a result, he just says that women's are really hopeless without feeling bad about it. But then she was crying and saying sorry to him while standing behind a pillar. Afterwards, at the cafeteria on the Magic Academy, he was wondering if he still got a chance to make her fall for him. Alice then says that was really surprising for her to say it, but still it was pretty odd for her to say that words, which caught his attention, and he asks her to explain. To which she replies that if she really didn't like him helping her, she shouldn't be happy after he drove him off. So she must have a good reason to reject him now, which made Augurt realize that's a good point, and he goes on by telling to her that they just have to wait and watch on what happens. But this shocked Alice, since it's not his usual habit to give up, which then leads her to misunderstand that Augurt is testing her loyalty, so she will find a clue about what happened with Mashiro's new attitude and present it to Augurt. As a result, she started to watch Mashiro. After observing her for a while, Alice realizes that Mashiro is trying not to be in front of many people. Meanwhile, Augurt was sipping the tea because he was just simply tired. Afterwards, at the old school of this Lishber Magic Academy, inside there those bullies were getting happy since Augurt fell for such an easy trick, and he asks her wasn't it funny, to which Mashiro tells to them that she was forced to tell it, and it's not funny. She then goes on by asking them on why are they doing it to him, but this annoyed because it looks like she was about to cry again. After that, he says that he now wants to see Augurt whipping on the floor, so he orders Mashiro to call him once again, which shocked her, and she tells to him that she can't do it, but he just says that he will attack him with magic this time, so no matter how strong he is in hand battle, it doesn't matter. After hearing it, she tells to him that it's not what they promised. Afterwards, she gets scared, since as the rumors says Augurt can't use magic. He will get overwhelmed by this people, no matter how strong he is now. Plus, everyone in this academy made fun of her for being a commoner to enroll in this academy. But he was different than everyone, so she decides to take Augurt's side. And she tells to them that she will not betray him for the second time. But this angered them, and he goes on by slapping her in the face. After that, he tears of her dress, and he declares to her, then he will embarrass her. After saying it, he runs his hands through her thighs, and she couldn't able to do anything rather to plead. All of a sudden, Augurt kicks open the door, which shocked everyone, and after looking at she started to blush. But with a menacing aura, he tells to her that he will not let anyone lay hands on her anymore. After seeing him, that bully questions Augurt on how he is fine after getting rejected by Mashiro, to which he replies that he wouldn't fall for such a small acting, which made that bully to realize Augurt has seen through their act by letting them let their guard down while acting like he got his heart broken. But the real truth happened several minutes earlier, where Augurt was feeling down after getting rejected by Mashiro. Even though he acted all cool and mighty, everything was his huge misunderstanding. But then Alice asks Augurt to see something, which she recorded it in her camera, which was those bullies comforting Mashiro for doing a good job on breaking Augurt's heart, which then made Augurt to realize that Mashiro doesn't hate him. Alice then says that they should now save Mashiro, since she might be in danger, so as a result he gets fully charged after realizing the fact he wasn't misunderstood anything, which made other bullies to think that Augurt is really creepy, to which he replies to them that they have magic on their side. After saying it, he casts his fire magic, which was a big ball of fire, which even shocked Alice since the magic ball was really big. But to Augurt he calmly casts something. In the end the flames engulfs Augurt. He then suddenly gets scared, since the flames he throwed at Augurt vanishes without a trace, and everyone gets confused. The bully asks to him on what happened since he can't use any magic aptitude right. After hearing it, he starts to walk towards the bully. But that bully gets scared, so he casts more fireballs. But to his surprise, Augurt casually deletes all of his magic balls, which then shocks him and he falls down. To which he says, so it's in checkmate, and he sits on top of him, while saying now, he will end this quickly. But this made that bully to get scared for his life. So he lets out a huge scream, but he got passed out while the punch from Augurt made a hole in the ground. Afterwards, Alice started to pack them up, while Mashiro is asking to him on what type of magic was that, to which he puts his clothes on her while telling her his true magic, which was a nullifying magic that can delete others' magic, and it is his original spell. As a result, while letting out a tear, she says sorry for being mean to him. After hearing it, he gets silent, and he suddenly tells to her that it is an unforgivable act, so he will punish her for doing something bad, and she even braces for the impact. But then he tells her to keep his magic technique as a secret, and she shouldn't cry anymore. And she should also ignore those people who says that she is a commoner. And as a punishment, she should come with him. After hearing it, she started to blush, and she goes on by hugging him. But her balloons were in the way. After that, he gets happy since the balloons are now in his hands, which is the very first step towards his harem plan. Meanwhile, Alice was getting happy for Mashiro. Afterwards, they started to walk out of the building, while he is shouting that their supremacy is just beginning. And Alice was taking a photo of whatever he is doing. But then a girl notices them walking, and she thinks that things are going to be interesting. After that, those bullies got expelled from the academy, and they are now labeled as perverts. And thanks to that, he is able to focus on his daily routine. Meanwhile, Alice asks to him on if she can add more weight, to which he replies yes. After that, she pulls out more weight, while saying he is awesome because he is not as lazy as other nobles. After hearing it, he realizes that other nobles has magic aptitude, but he got reincarnated into this world with a good physics. So if that's the case, he decides to polish his physics. All of a sudden, Mashiro comes in and says good morning to Augurt in a casual tone, to which he thinks that's nice, because he always dreamed of living with a childhood friend, but he never got a chance, so he trained Mashiro to act in this way. Afterwards, he stops training and tells Alice to guard Mashiro. But this confused Mashiro, and she asks to him if he is going out, to which he says yes, because he got invited by a certain person. After seeing him, Alice just says she will, while Mashiro is getting flustered after seeing his body. Afterwards, at the faculty building, he was standing outside the room, while inhaling and exhaling. After opening the door, they says that he arrived at the right timing, and it was an old woman, and she thanks him for coming in there. To which he replies her to not worry, but he calls her as a principal.